I'm here with Jeff Raghavan, the Chief Revenue Officer
Correct.
of Buddy Media, to try to understand from sitting here in beautiful Thailand.
Gorgeous.
Do we need to have one Facebook page for a big company? They have a Thai outfit, they have one in Spain, and they have one in Mexico and the United States. Shouldn't they? Those are four very different markets. Shouldn't they have a separate Facebook tab for each one?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it really...
First of all, Buddy Media is a company that...
Do you want me to take it from here?
Take it from there, one sentence, 140 characters.
So, Buddy Media is a technology company. We basically provide all of the plumbing for Facebook. So, if a brand wants to get on Facebook, we've got all these tools, we call them power tools, that essentially can launch your pages, really beautiful, custom tabs, understanding the wall, moderation, analytics. Basically anything that you wanted to do on Facebook, you can do with our platform.
So it gives you a strong, powerful back end. So a common issue that your clients would be asking is, should I have those four pages, 4 tabs? What should I do? Or should I aggregate them all so I have more fans on one location? And your advice would be?
Well, it varies, okay? So here's one situation. If we take a global brand like, say, Unilever, okay? Unilever had a brand, Dove, that had...
They still do.
Right, they still do. They're still around. I use their soap. They've got tons and tons of pages. Dove UK, Dove Italy, Dove France, Dove Spain, Dove South America, Dove Australia. It
good
goes
or
on
bad?
and on and
good
on
or,
and
good
on.
Or bad?
Right? No, not good or bad. Just there's a lot of pages. Now, when you're searching for, you live in Hong Kong?
I live in Hong Kong.
And you're searching for Dove. If you use Dove.
I do.
What do you search for?
Dove, Hong Kong.
You search for Hong Kong.
If I'm looking for Dove in Hong Kong. But I'm looking for Dove generally, I'd
on
look for
Facebook.
Dove.
On Facebook, what would you search for? Dove?
Probably go for Dove and then wait for the tabs to come down to see what turned up.
Yeah. So most people would put in Dove. They're not necessarily putting in the country, they're putting in the actual brand name. So that creates a big problem because once they put that name in, there are lists and lists and lists of Dove pages. Which are the real pages, right?
Right.
So now what we're doing is we're taking the philosophy of let's get them all together, all those 40 Dove pages, create one single experience, get all of the fans together, okay? And then automatically show that content for each country based on IP. So let's just say Susan comes in from France. She automatically is going to be Suzanne, okay? Suzanne comes in from France. And she's going to see the Dove page that's specific to France.
In French.
In French. And content may be different than, let's just say, the UK page. Now, let's just say I come in the Dove page and I'm in the United States. It's going to show me content in English and the content that's available for the
Okay, so
US.
what is the advantage and disadvantage?
So the advantage is you get all of your fans in one place.
Right. Lots of likes or whatever.
Lots of likes in one place. Another advantage is you have global consistency. So every single country can use a template, but they can use different products and different SKUs and different colors.
Because you have different kind of Dove soap or whatever it is in a different market.
But Unilever globally can actually set up a template that's used for everybody so that if you go to all these different pages, everybody's working together. You could permission them in our tool, right? Because we actually manage a big global product. And you can provision each country to say, you get to mess up your version only.
But nobody else.
Nobody else can touch it.
Okay.
And then on the wall publishing side, the biggest negative was, okay, so we've got all these countries together now, but how do we talk to them from the wall? If I go and put a post out, who's going to see that?
So will the French side see the British, and we know how the French and British get along?
Which is not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't want to encourage that.
Well, we don't want to encourage that. But what has happened now is that Facebook has given us an API that we can plug into the platform, and we can now target status updates based on IP. So let's use you an example. Thomas comes in from Hong Kong. Somebody in Hong Kong who manages the Dove page puts a post up for people who live in Hong Kong. Only you see that.
Right.
No one else sees that, okay? Then if you go to the tab, it's showing you content in Hong Kong, right? So you now have the best of both worlds.
Okay.
Okay? Now, from a negative standpoint.
Yeah, what would be a situation where you wouldn't want to do that, where you would want to have multiple sorts of pages, an industry or situation?
So a situation where you might not want to do that is if you have products that have different names. Vaseline, Vasinol. It's the same product, but it's a different name. So you're not going to be able to merge those pages together because
Even though the product's identical apart from that one name.
I don't know what Vasinol is. It sounds like something pretty horrible, to be honest. But so you want to use those. You want to keep them separate. Okay. Another instance, is a great example. Starwood Hotels and Resorts.
Huge resort.
Huge conglomerate. Okay. 8 brands around the world: Sheraton, Aloft, Four Points, Westin, St. Regis, W. What am I missing?
You're a frequent traveler.
I love Starwood, actually. Starwood preferred guests, okay? So they all have their 8 brand pages, but then all of the smaller properties, like W's, for instance, are all about nightlife and fun. They went to W Corporate and they said, hey, you guys have a W Corporate page, why can't we have our own? Okay, because they started doing it themselves. So then W Corporate said, okay, well, we're gonna put a system in place, powered by Buddy Media, okay, that we had to build for
product
them.
endorsement there.
Product endorsement. And every single property in the world, whether it's Westin or W or Sheraton, gets their own page and their own content that's controlled by corporate and also controlled a little bit by the property. Wow, that's a lot of bugs here. So you actually are building a massive media network on Facebook that you can have all of your connections, and our platform rolls everything up together.
Okay, so is a crucial difference that would unite both of them is you really want to create the tab or the presence for each brand. In a way, what you're saying is each one of those resorts, it has its own brand or identity because I'm always going to want to go to that resort in that place.
So here's an example. I personally, this is the truth, whenever I'm in LA, I stay at the SLS in Beverly Hills. It's by far the best hotel. It's a Starwood property. It's gorgeous. There's nightlife. There's great restaurants. It's my favorite. I'm there all the time. Okay, I am a fan of that page because I want to see what events are taking place.
And you don't care about what is happening to any other
I don't care about the other ones.
hotel of that same group in that city.
I also stay at the W in San Francisco. I want to know what conventions are going on so I know not to book.
Right.
Right? So these are really important things that we could actually see what's going on these property levels. That's when it makes sense to have lots of fragmentations all over the place.
Okay, that's much clearer. So should you have one Facebook page or many? The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jeff.
You're very welcome.